2000 was a pivotal year for roller coasters. We finally saw our first continuous circuit coaster break the 300-foot barrier with Millennium Force. Since then, only 5 other roller coasters have been granted this illustrious status. Now, to be clear, there are taller roller coasters in operation, including at Cedar Point, than a Giga coaster, but for the sake of this video, a Giga coaster is referring to any roller coaster that stands between 300 and 399 feet that utilizes a traditional lift. Recently, I got to check out the final Giga coaster in North America with Leviathan. The only Giga coaster left for me to ride would be Steel Dragon 2000 at Nagashima Spa Land in Japan, but since I don't have Japan in the cards for this year, I really wanted to talk about the other 5 I've been able to ride. In this video, I thought it would be fun to rank these attractions and see how they stack in my books. But before we get to my ranking, please do me a favor by clicking on that like button. Newcomers to my channel that love roller coasters, including the Gigas, please subscribe. Because I haven't been on Steel Dragon 2000, I can't really give you my full take, but basing this off of other reviews and overall consensus of the ride, I'm going to place this giant roller coaster in the number 6 slot. Steel Dragon 2000 was truly a record-shattering ride. It may only stand a few feet taller than Millennium Force, but with over 8,000 feet of track, Steel Dragon snatched the longest roller coaster record and has held on to this title ever since. Falcon's flight is scheduled to open later this year, which will completely eclipse this attraction, but until then, Steel Dragon can continue to bask in its record-breaking status. Number 5, Pantherian, at King's Dominion. I know shots have been fired as soon as I put Pantherian near the bottom of this list. Opening in 2010, originally known as Intimidator 305, this powerhouse of a ride took everyone by surprise with its uber-intense layout. Pantherian is not for the faint of heart. It's packed with intense G-forces that is all but sure to make anyone who dares to ride nearly black out from its fast, low-to-the-ground turns. That first turnaround after the giant 300-foot drop makes me gray out every time. So you might be wondering, why would an intense roller coaster like Pantherian be so low on my list? Well, it all comes down to preference. Pantherian is a workout of a ride. I could only imagine riding this coaster a couple times during each visit to the park. I better be hydrated because if not, I'm sure this coaster will give me a headache. From the moment you start that first drop until you're nearing the end of the ride, Pantherian never lets up, leaving the pedal to the metal. Well, I guess that pun kind of worked better when it was Intimidator 305, but anyways, once you hit those trims near the end of the ride, the intensity is neutered, including the airtime that should have followed. Which again is kind of my disappointment because I kind of lean more towards airtime than I do the intensity. So yeah, out of all my rankings in this video, I'm sure Pantherian will be my most polarizing. Many consider this to be the best roller coaster on the planet, which I can totally understand, but I'm not one of them. Number 4, Millennium Force at Cedar Point. The original Giga coaster, after operating for 25 years, I'm surprised how well this ride continues to hold up. That first drop is epic. The views from the top are just as epic as you get to look miles out over Lake Erie. The coaster passes up on airtime hills and focuses on overbanked turns that stay lower to the ground, allowing this coaster to travel longer at its higher speed. Millennium Force does have a couple moments of airtime, but don't come expecting something crazy because it's more like graceful floater than anything else. Millennium Force is all about the experience that I think it does well. The ride is crazy enough to continue the enthusiasm, but not crazy enough to make this a small cult following, kind of like Pantherian. Now, after all these years, Millennium Force is starting to get a touch rough. It's not bad, just a lot of rattle. Some say it's like driving down a smooth gravel road. There's no potholes, just not glossy smooth like the remaining coasters on this list. But yeah, Millennium Force continues to be one of the headlining attractions at Cedar Point after 25 years, and I can see why. Number 3, Orion at Kings Island. This roller coaster continues to hold a special place in my mind. I love the look and feel of the ride. The theming and the music is cool. The blue track barreling high into the park skyline looks especially great at night with the LED tracer lighting up the catwalk. The first drop is incredible, delivering some of the best airtime that you can get on any first drop of a coaster. Unlike the previous Giga coasters, Orion focuses on some giant swooping elements that keep the height, but lose some of that desired pacing known with Giga coasters. The following two elements, though, are still interesting, lack the level of intensity or airtime that we would expect from a coaster of this class. Orion pulls it together though with its ending, pulling off a great speed airtime hill and giant airtime hill that delivers lots of great floater airtime. My second favorite moment besides that incredible first drop is actually the final element of the ride. After performing a helix, Orion takes on a banked airtime hill of sorts that delivers some exciting ejector airtime in the back row. Even that pop-up into the brake run has some good airtime. Now, are some a little disappointed with Orion? Well, yes, because it is the newest of the Giga coasters and it kind of lands somewhere in the middle in my mind, but overall, it's still a solid roller coaster and my favorite at Kings Island. Number 2, Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland. Prior to riding, I was told that Leviathan was the weakest Giga coaster out there and Orion was clearly the superior of the two. Well, after one ride, I knew what I was hearing couldn't be farther from the truth. Leviathan is a great roller coaster that is nearly a perfect Giga coaster. The first drop is just as good as the one on Orion, it's loaded with airtime and feels like you are falling forever. Leviathan manages to stay a little lower to the ground, keeping the high speed for most of the ride, something that Orion was missing. With that said though, Leviathan isn't lacking in the airtime either. This coaster has at least 4 moments of solid airtime, including that massive 180-foot airtime hill near the midpoint of the ride. In many ways, Leviathan reminds me a lot of Fury 325 with its layout and pacing. This is a great roller coaster and please don't rule it out until you give it a chance. Number 1, Fury 325 at Carowinds. Basically, the manufacturer took everything that they did right with Leviathan and improved on it. The first drop is larger, loaded with excellent airtime, and feels just like the other two Gigas. Speaking of, I know that many are prone to say that Fury has the best drop of the bunch, but honestly, all 3 Gigas by B&M have a first drop that feels the same. I think the only way that you could discern them all would be placing them side by side and immediately hopping off one onto the other. But since we can't do that, I'm gonna say that they're all the same. Fury 325 is the best of all worlds with its layout. The ride stays low to the ground, keeping its excellent pacing, but also injecting some airtime at key points of the ride that sends this coaster into my top 5. The treble clef, which on most coasters would just be another turnaround element, is instead amplified by great ejector airtime at the pinnacle of this maneuver. The way this coaster interacts with the front gate is epic, again improving on what Leviathan did at Canada's Wonderland. In my eyes, Fury 325 is the perfect Giga coaster with excellent pacing, high speeds, the right amount of intensity, and airtime. Well, that concludes my ranking of every Giga coaster in operation. Even with this ranking, please note that all of these roller coasters are great. You really can't go wrong with any of them. Even the ones I have ranked at the very bottom are still amongst the best coasters that you can experience. Well, until next time, this is X-Scream Thrills.